Today we're making a mung bean soup called Munggo. It's a healthy dish, of course. We're adding in more protein to this than the usual just the mung beans, but you can keep it vegetarian by just using the mung beans and vegetables and opting out on the protein for the pork. Today we're making a Filipino dish using mung beans called Ginisang Munggo or Munggo. Here are the ingredients for this recipe. 1 pack of mung beans, 2 small tomato chopped, about half a pound of pork. You can use any type or any cut of pork you prefer. About 6 cloves of garlic minced, half an onion chopped. And we're going to be using shrimp paste. You can use any type of shrimp paste you prefer, or if you can't eat shrimp paste or you don't prefer using shrimp paste, you can use fish sauce. Also, we're going to be topping this off with some spinach, baby spinach. Traditionally, this doesn't come with pork rinds, but we're going to be adding pork rinds with this dish because at the end, when that pork rind absorbs that soup or that broth, it will have like the consistency of a tripe. So it's a nice addition. So you can just probably add in a handful of these. And also for spinach, we're gonna be using about 1 cup of spinach. If you can't use shrimp paste or alamang, you can also substitute with fish sauce. We're going to start by setting our heat to medium-high. Then we're going to add in about a tablespoon of oil. Then we're going to start sauteing our garlic. Then we're going to add in our onions. And if your pork has fat, you can also add that in so you can render that down. Now this dish doesn't really use ginger, but I'm adding it for flavor. I don't like eating ginger, but I do love the flavor that the ginger gives. So I'm going to be adding about 1 thumb of ginger, thinly sliced. Again, this is optional. Now we're going to be adding in our remaining pork. So for this dish, you can add in as much pork as you want. For me, I'm not putting a lot because the main focus of this dish are the mung beans. The pork is just like an addition to kind of like give it protein. So I'll leave it to you on how much you want to use for this dish. Now we're going to season our pork. We are not using salt. Instead, we're going to be using shrimp paste. So for those that don't know what shrimp paste looks like, it's literally fermented shrimps, little baby shrimps. So, and a little bit goes a long way, so be cautious on how much you put. And also there's a large variety of shrimp paste out there. I usually use the ones with that's already been sauteed and then it's usually more flavorful. And some are also spicy. I love the spicy ones. Now we're gonna season with pepper. And we're gonna add in our tomatoes. As far as tomatoes, you don't really have to finely chop them because they will pretty much fall apart and like melt in the background. So it doesn't really matter how much you chop them or how small you chop them. Next thing we're gonna do is add in our mung beans. So I don't know if you've already ran into a mung bean before, but it's just pretty much a small beans that usually used in an Asian dish. Of course, you can find this in Asian market. I don't know, I'm not sure if you can find this in American markets. So far, I haven't seen any. Anyways, I'm gonna be using a whole bag. Now, most people prefer boiling this on the side in a separate pot because it takes a while for this to soften. But for me, since I hate washing dishes, I try to put everything in one pot, so it's just pretty much easier to cook also. So instead of boiling in a different pot, I'm gonna be putting it in this dish, in our one pot. Also, I like doing this so that the flavor that's in that pot right now will coat the mung beans. Now we're going to be adding our water. Raise your heat to high and bring it to a boil. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cover it up, wait for it to boil, and then we're going to reduce our heat to medium, and then we're going to continue cooking until the mung beans are soft. Also, make sure to stir every 5 minutes to make sure that the mung beans are getting evenly cooked. Let's check on our dish. Just make sure you constantly stir every 5 minutes or so to make sure that all the mung beans are getting cooked. Also, I forgot to mention, since we have the saltiness from the fish, from the shrimp paste, it's also good to have a body to that flavor, not just the saltiness. So I will be adding about 1 teaspoon of pork powder. That's just to give it like a body and a depth to the flavor. So let's stir it up. And as you're cooking this until the mung bean gets soft, make sure to add in water if it starts to dry out. It should take about 20 to 30 minutes to soften the mung beans. See, this is what I mean by people using a separate pot to cook them and then just sauteing everything in this pot. But I'm too lazy to wash dishes, so I'll do it my lazy way of just one pot dish. So let's cover it up. Continue cooking under medium-low heat. And just make sure you don't forget to stir every 5 minutes. All right, let's check on our soup. Also keep in mind, the more you cook this, the more it's gonna absorb all that liquid. So make sure you add in more water. And also when you're adding water, adjust the seasoning because you're gonna start losing that seasoning. That's why I didn't put a quantity on the water because it will vary on how much mung beans you're using. The only key is the more water you add, the more water you add in, you have to constantly adjust the seasoning so you don't lose the flavor. Check the seasoning one more time. We lost a little flavor there, so we're gonna add in more pork powder. And I'm gonna add in a little more of that shrimp paste because we lost so much flavor by adding too much water. So also keep in mind, after we're done cooking this, it's gonna still keep on absorbing the liquid, so it's gonna dry out eventually. So just make sure you have plenty of water in there. That's perfect, and the mung beans are already soft. What we're gonna do now is add in our pork rinds. Again, these are optional, and the important key is when you're adding the pork rinds, make sure you use a regular flavor, not the ones with like vinegar flavor or any type of flavoring. So make sure it's just a plain pork rinds. So you can add in as much or as little as you want. Also, if you don't want to add that in, it's up to you. Just like that. Again, what this does is it gives it kind of like a tripe texture with a meal. So that's done. Then last thing is we're gonna add in our baby spinach. You can add in about a cup of baby spinach. So cover it, turn off the heat, and we're done. So here's our finished dish, Munggo or Mung Bean Soup. Again, this can be a healthy dish if you opt out of the pork rinds and the pork. Just keep it as a vegetarian. Other than that, hope you enjoyed this recipe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.